OrtizJr fight. He's taken on Erickson Lubin. Right now we're one fight away. The co-main is about to step in the ring. That's going to be Darius Fulgrim versus David Stevens, a matchup I know nothing about because I've never heard of either fighter. But right this very moment, I am watching the main event of UFC Fight Night. It is Bonfim versus Randy Brown. The first round just finished. Bonfim fights out of Brazil. Randy Brown is of Jamaican descent, but I believe he fights out of the U.S. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So they went to commercial break, so we didn't get to hear the corner work there. I'm gonna try to adjust this a little bit. Okay, so thank you so much, Sean. That's so kind of you. Really, really appreciate it. Every little bit helps. But to be fair, let's just to recap a little bit. That's so nice of you, Sean James. I truly, truly appreciate it. A few fights prior might have been the most interesting moment of this whole fight card thus far. There's a fellow named Eric Priest who's undefeated, clearly the A side. And he's 16-0. He took on a fellow named Esniker Correa, who's 16-6-2. And Correa fought his way to get a split draw. And after the fight, he had some pretty choice words, I think, for Eric Priest's trainer. Eric Priest trains out of North Hollywood at a gym I'm familiar with, but do not care to mention because I don't think they didn't treat me well at that gym. I felt disrespected at the gym by the management, not by any fighters. But nevertheless, so I'm not going to mention the gym where Eric Priest trains, and I'm not going to mention his trainer, but you can look that up if you care to. No disrespect to Eric Priest, it's just I don't feel like mentioning where he trains. But he strikes me as the kind of guy who has money behind him and has managed to accumulate a 16-0 record. And so I don't know what went on before the fight, but I think that's why Correa had like a few pleasantries to exchange with Eric Priest's trainer after the fight in the ring. Okay, so whoa, my goodness. Okay, Bonfim just KO'd Randy Brown. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I was blabbing away about something else and didn't call that for you. Ooh, Randy still looks wobbly after he got back up to his feet. Now, arguably, Brown could have been awarded the first round because he was landing some good kicks. But now Randy's putting his arms up, kind of asking why, why. I don't think he understands how badly he just got dropped. Okay, here it was. Jab. It was a knee. Bonfim jabbed. Brown kind of tried to, I guess, level change a little bit, but as he was bringing his head down, Bonfim came up with a knee. And the ref waved it off practically immediately. Yeah, I think Brown thought he was going to come in to try to grapple. And he didn't even know what was going on because as the ref came in to wave it off, Brown covered up like this on his back. So he thought the ref was the fighter fighting him. That's crazy. All right. Hi, James. How are you? Full version of what? All right, guys. So we're here to talk about combat sports, either boxing or UFC. Thank you for sharing scripture, John 3:16. Appreciate that. Okay, so UFC, that was the main event, so it's over. Thank you, John. Appreciate the love. Favorite UFC fighter? Probably Georges St. Pierre. I just love his resilience. Resilience. If I had message corrupt nature, message for the world, it would be one love. That's it. Jabriel, I think he pronounces his name, Jabriel Bonfim from Brazil, got a second round KO over Randy Brown. Okay, so in the boxing ring, I don't know, do any of you guys care to hear more about Bonfim's win? Okay, so in the boxing ring, now we have a fight I really am not interested in at all. Darius Fulgrim and David Stevens. Noticed either man, but I don't know who they are. I feel like this is just stuff they fill the card up with. They know people want to tune in to see Virgil Ortiz and Erickson Lubin, and so that's the only fight. That's the only fight of substance. This is why Dana White says boxing is broken, because this is what has just become a common practice to lure views, maybe people paying. I'm not paying for this, but promoters will create a main event that people do want to see, and then everything else on the undercard is just stuff that none of us are really interested in. The promoter has contractual obligations to the people he's signed, so they are the A side. He gets his matchmaker to find people that he figures his A-siders can beat and remain undefeated, and so it's typically just they're not really interesting matchups. All right, so again, we're here to talk about combat sports. Hopefully that's why you're here. That's why that's what this channel is devoted to. Yeah, exactly. Sean James said it best. So yeah, we're just talking about fights. I'm just not going to answer any questions that are irrelevant. Thank you so much for the flower, whoever sent that. And Sean, you don't have to block anybody, but you can yeah, you can definitely, I don't know how you do that, delete their message. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for the support. I train in boxing and MMA. All right, guys, we're not going to play Guess the Ethnicity. Not a good game to play, anyways. I'm sort of half torn, Sean, about leaving those kind of comments on or not, only because on one hand, people, maybe they need to know that Asian people still get harassed like this on social media. People have no qualms about posting stuff like that. But if you did that to other ethnicities, what do you think would happen? You know what I mean? Don't worry about the moderator. He's doing what I asked him to do. And I appreciate his help, because otherwise it's a little bit too hectic to try to watch fights, comment, and monitor these comments. All right, so it's Saturday, so this is the only night of the week I drink any soda. So this is the soda I drink. Has nothing to do with my channel or this live, but it is stevia, Zevia soda, right? So it has, well, this is going to be backwards for you guys, but you can see 0 grams of sugar. If you can read that backwards. Anyways, 0 calories, 0 grams of sugar. Yeah, you're right, Sean. I mean, some people sincerely want to know, but it's kind of like, I don't know, man. Look at the name of the channel and figure it out. If you're not a savvy enough adult in this day and age to figure out from my last name what my ethnicity is, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I said it so politely. Thanks so much. Okay, here we go. This is the fight before Virgil Ortiz, Erickson Lubin. And it looks like two big boys, Edwards versus Vuris. Oh, did they have a switch here? Oh, my fault. We might have a couple more fights before. Yeah, my fault. My fault. We're going to have a couple more fights before we get to Ortiz versus Lubin, because one other annoying thing that boxing promotions do is they don't necessarily list the fights in order when they submit the fight card. So um, Josh Edwards has 4 fights. Zeno Vuras has 6 fights. They are heavyweights, and I hope this is only a 4-rounder. It might be a 6. Oh yeah, no, my fault. Yeah, it looks like it's a 6-rounder. So we can hope it gets stopped. Yeah, thanks. We didn't need that one for sure. Sean, thanks. So the thing that I realized, Sean and company, is like in order to be able to see the live chat after this live stream is actually complete, like, you know, for someone to go back and look at this live stream later when it gets published to my channel, the only way to see all the comments, I have to not have any kind of restriction on any comments. So I think before I had the default set to like normal moderation, or normal moderation for YouTube, whatever that means. But in all honesty, Sean, I haven't figured out like why can't YouTube figure this stuff out? Like the really inappropriate stuff. Why doesn't YouTube just like automatically not let somebody post that? I don't know. All right. Hey, John, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us. This is a live stream. We just finished watching UFC Fight Night. To be honest, didn't know either fighter in the main event, but Gabriel Bonfim from Brazil knocked out Randy Brown with a knee. So I am from the United States of America. All right, and on the boxing side, I'm really doing this live to watch Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Erickson Lubin. But right now we're gonna have to wait it out through, hopefully not too long. But right now we're watching a heavyweight 6-rounder between Josh Edwards and Zeno Vuras. All right, guys, what boxing fights are you looking forward to? Well, that fight, the Voldemort versus Gervonta fight, is off as far as I know, because uh, you know, Tank got himself. Well, he didn't really get himself in more trouble. It's just a continuation of previous trouble, where he was in a domestic violence event, domestic violence, and the woman is now pressing civil charges, and so Jake Paul and companies using that, yeah, Voldemort as a reason for calling the fight off. But in all honesty, it's probably because it wasn't selling. Um, I mean, it's like this is not a new thing with Tank. Like, he didn't suddenly in the last month start hitting women. He's been doing that for years, and it's he's done it enough that it has been caught on camera and it has been uh, posted to social media. So it's been documented. He's had criminal charges pressed against him, and so this is nothing new. So it's really not. That can't be the reason why you would call a fight off. If you were so opposed to his domestic violence, you wouldn't have even signed a contract with him to begin with. So that's garbage. I think it's because of business reasons. Mike Tyson and Mayweather, I don't know that I don't know if either one of those guys is gonna fight again. All right, hey Super Mario, what's up? Hey Braden. Jake not being able, it's ridiculous. Make weight at what, 195, which is still 60 pounds, a 60-pound weight difference. It's like, I don't know, it's insane. If you're gonna give away 60 pounds, why would you care if the guy weighs 200 pounds or 195? All right, here we go. Second round of this heavyweight matchup. It looks like this is supposed to be Edwards. He's the A side. He's supposed to win this. He's the guy, excuse me, with the 4-0 record. So, and Zeno Vuris is playing his part. He's just putting up the high double and eating Edwards' punches, not even bothering to move his body or head. That's kind of a hard way to earn the paycheck. Right. All right. Hi, Woozy. How are you? Well, Mayweather. The problem with a theoretical Tyson versus Mayweather fight is that they're totally different weights, right? Tyson was always a heavyweight, even though he was a shorter heavyweight. But Floyd Mayweather fought at 135. So again, it's just not quite a fair comparison. I mean, if they just fought each other as is, yeah, Tyson would knock him out. But I mean, if you could somehow magically blow Floyd up to a heavyweight, I don't know. I don't know if he's durable enough to compete in that. If his framework was durable enough to compete with the big boys like that, brittle hands. His signature thing was to move around and not get hit, but when it comes down to fighting a heavyweight, as the cliche goes, all it takes is one punch to land. Okay, so right now in this heavyweight matchup, it looks like Joshua Edwards might have broken Zeno Vuris' nose, judging from the amount of blood gushing from Vuris' nose between rounds. Now again, in this round, Vuris is doing the exact same thing, high double guard. Okay, now he's trying to swing back a little bit once the distance gets closed. He's also doing a little bit of grappling, but he's just right there, standing right there for Edwards to hit. Now Edwards switches to southpaw, back to righty. What I'd rather see from Edwards when Voorhees starts to hold is just to use proper angle shifts on the inside. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mila Stylus. Appreciate that. Sounds like Aspinall. That's hilarious, Sean. Um, yeah, what did you think of that eye poke? I mean, Tom got a lot of hate for that. People called him out as being overhyped. I think we'll be able to see in the next few fights, you know, what's Tom made of. Okay, Edwards is really just he's not going to last much longer because I mean, not Edwards. Vuris is not going to last much longer because Edwards is simply just throwing punches straight down the middle, splitting his guard, and then coming around with hooks. At this point, this is just good sparring practice for Edwards because he's switching stances, so I guess he wants to practice a little bit of southpaw. Not sure why. You don't really need to be a switch hitter as a heavyweight. What he should work on is his footwork out of orthodox. He should also work Edwards, I'm talking about. See, it's clear to me he doesn't really know how to fight on the inside because he just pushed Voorhees off him. And now the ref just stepped in and waved it off. No idea why. That wasn't... Yeah, and Voorhees is confused too. He's like, why is this getting stopped? I don't know if it's because of the cut, the blood. All right. You don't think Tom wants to fight anymore? I don't know. All right, thank you for the gift. Yeah, Gon was coming on strong in that first round, so you know, I don't know if he took Tom's will from him, and then Tom just figured, this is my way out of this. I'll keep my belt if it goes to no contest. All right, XM. The only problem is you're giving us theoretical matchups of guys who are in two different weight divisions. Okay, the thing with the Logan Paul Mayweather thing, Logan Paul doesn't know how to fight. Mayweather's an exceptional world champion, so it's not really a fair comparison. Thank you for sending that pumpkin on head. That was very cute. That's from G5. Thanks, G5. Appreciate that. All right, so this kid, Joshua Edwards, is trained by Ronnie Shields. Same guy who trained, gosh, what's that heavyweight fighter's name that beat Zhang Jilei, that I didn't think he beat him? Okay, I'll think of his name in a second, but... Yeah, I mean, you can call them fantasy fights, but I have a problem with when there's like a huge weight difference, because then it becomes a safety issue too. And it's just, there's weight, like they say, the cliche is there's weight divisions for a reason. Well, it's true. Mayweather also fought a guy much smaller than him. He fought a kid who's now campaigning at bantamweight. He fought the kickboxer in Japan named Tenshin Nasukawa. All right, Nasukawa is now officially switched over from kickboxing to professional boxing, and he's campaigning as a bantamweight. So, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I have a problem with these matchups, even if they are just exhibitions. I have a problem when there's like a big weight difference, you know? So in that sense, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul was more fair to call that a heavyweight exhibition. Combat sports are leaning heavy into fantasy fights. Well, boxing is, because they're like, boxing's basically screwed itself as a business, and the pandemic opened the door to this. This is, Showtime was the first one to allow Voldemort to fight. I think who did he fight first? KSI? XM. Like I said, I like George St. Pierre for his, not only for his, what he can do in the cage, but also for his mental resilience. Remember, he came back after a 2-year layoff and choked out Bisping. I mean, I think a lot of us had Bisping for the win on that one. Sean, I agree with you. Combat sports, at least boxing, is turning into a clown show. Agreed. What do you guys think of like the bare knuckle stuff and the what is it called, dirty boxing, where they kind of box with MMA gloves, but then you're allowed to hit somebody when you drop them. I'm not clear on the actual rules for this dirty boxing, but it's almost like you can invent your own sport now. Like, that's not boxing, but it's some sort of variation. Yeah, bare knuckle to me is insane, because you're gonna get banged up, you're gonna get cut. Hematoma is going to be really bad, and the person hitting is also at risk of really doing some damage to their hand. But God bless them, those people who want to do it. Oh, you're funny, Sean. I used to root for Josh Koscheck when he finished or rivaled GSP. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so here we go. Oh my gosh. We have quite a few more fights, unfortunately, before we get to the only fight I'm interested in. So up next is Amari Jones and Shady Gamhor. Gamor? I don't know. Sorry, Shady. That's really his name. He's not Slim. I don't know if he's the real Shady, but that's what it says on BoxRec. So now that fight is listed last on this list, so I have no idea what the bout order is. And again, this is one of the more annoying things with boxing promotions. Oh, you mean power slap thing? Well, Dana said he saw it during the pandemic that it was taking off on social media, so he made a move, and smart business move, because it's a very Instagrammable sport, right? It's only like a matter of seconds. It's very dramatic. You don't have to know anything about the sport to understand what's going on. Somebody's getting slapped, and either they're gonna be able to take it or they're gonna get knocked unconscious in one shot. Hi, is it Wiccan? Appreciate you. Gimmick MMA promotions. MMA is still pretty much MMA. I haven't seen any or are you saying like the bare knuckle stuff is gimmick MMA? I don't know. There's who else has something going on? Oh, Boss Rutan has his karate in a bowl thing going on. I don't know what the rules are for that. I don't know. I've never watched it. I don't even know if you gotta wear a karate gi or not. But yeah, I think he calls it combat karate. I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, are you guys at all interested in Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank I don't know Khabib, but I know who he is. All right. Hey, XM, when you say it's very technical, which one are you referring to? Oh, the karate in the bowl? Okay. Well, that's good that it's very technical. The one thing, actually, karate is the reason I got into boxing, because I was trying to branch out in martial arts from judo, and the thing is, I just couldn't follow. I couldn't follow the rules for all the different karate competitions. It's like every karate tournament you go to, the rules have changed. So it's like I can't do something like that. I need to find something that only has one set of rules. Excuse me. All right. Well, the next fight I'm looking forward to is for sure Benavidez versus Yard, Anthony Yard. Not, I don't really care about Devin Haney, so I kind of want to see if Brian Norman can beat him. And unfortunately for Brian, even if he does, they might rob him of the victory. Let me see. I mean, Habib has, I wouldn't call it a style. He has, um, he's very well rounded because he comes from a combat sambo background. His dad was a judoka, so he's got good throws. He's got excellent submissions on the ground, and probably his weakest area was his striking. So he came to the United States to work on that specifically. Um, and his striking was decent enough, but his wrestling and grappling on the ground was just so dominant that uh, as long as he trained hard enough and sparred hard enough to remember how to like not get knocked out on his feet, you know, in other words, as long as his striking defense was solid and he could use that striking as an opportunity to get to his grappling, I mean, from that point forward, he was able to completely dominate. All right, Sean. So Sean's with me. He's not excited about the Haney fight either. Do you want to see him get beat though, Sean? You think Voldemort should fight Ngannou, but I think Ngannou tweeted out that he's not interested or something. I don't know. We don't really know where Francis's head is at. I mean, I do feel really badly for him from the loss of his baby son. Um, you know, you kind of wonder how much his heart is still in fighting anymore. You know. Uh, Wiccan, you should start with getting yourself in great shape. Like, make sure you could do, like, I would set a goal initially of being able to do 200 sit ups, 200 push ups. Then you got to up that to 500. You got to be able to run. I mean, if you don't run right now, start just running 15, 20 minutes and build yourself up to at least 45 minutes to an hour. You got to be able to do those things and then do that first and then join a boxing gym. If you come into the boxing gym in shape, that'll help you out. Sean thinks that Brian Norman might be able to drop Haney if he can catch him. Interesting. All right, cool. So GSP competed in that combat karate. You mean the one with Boss Rutan? I know he competed in karate. That was his main martial art before he started doing MMA. Yeah, it is a lot of work to get yourself in shape, but you know, you can do it. Just don't try to get to the end immediately, you know what I mean? Just start, take baby steps. If you can jog 15 minutes and that's it, then that's it, you know what I mean? That's where you got to start. And just try to slowly build on that. You know, it might take you a couple months. It might take you 3 months. It might take you 6 months. It just depends. I don't know where you're starting at, so yeah, all right. Here we go. We got another fight coming out to the ring. Amari Jones and Shady Gamura. All right, this kid Shady is from Sweden. That's very interesting. But he moved to Florida and he's training with Roy Jones Jr. That's kind of interesting. You like martial arts for the discipline for sure. That's probably that's probably the main point. I mean, in the long run, you know, that's the best takeaway from martial arts is you will gain discipline. All right, cool, XM. So GSP fought under Boss Ritten's promotion. That's cool. Smoking, yeah, smoking definitely is gonna take away from your cardio. My favorite Japanese female fighters. Well, they're not in the UFC. They're fighting for Ryzen. Um, I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but uh, some of the smaller female, like 105 pounders for sure. 105 and 115 pounders. Check out the Ryzen roster. Sean is saying no smoking, brother. Yeah, I mean, don't smoke anything. You know what I mean? Like, don't vape either. It's just boxing is so demanding that you don't wanna do that. Now, do boxers smoke? Yeah, they're professional boxers who smoke and they get away with it. Yeah, but they don't do it like all day, every day, and they haven't been, you know what I mean? It's like maybe they do that, maybe they have the occasional smoke, but they didn't grow into the sport smoking. All right, I'm not familiar with Kenji Kai, but cool. When I taught martial arts, it was judo. I also did teach some like women's self-defense, but that was more like workshops. It wasn't, so we would travel to different places and teach groups. All right, here we go with the next fight on the Virgil Ortiz Erickson Lubin card. Man, I'm really disappointed that the bout order is as per usual. I suppose I should have already known it was going to be like just a mishmash of fights we don't care about before we get to this main event. Now, it sucks for all the B-side fighters on this, or on any typical boxing card, is even if they fight their rear end off, they pretty much almost have to knock out the other person to get a draw, and then if they want to win, they have to knock them out. Ref is not going to stop the fight unless it's in the A side's favor, and the judges aren't going to give the B side any rounds, or they're not going to give the B side the win unless, I mean, the most they're going to give the B-side is a draw, you know what I mean? So, yeah, anyways. A card like this card is exactly the perfect example of why Dana White says boxing is broken. And this is a Golden Boy card, of course, because Virgil Ortiz Jr., Oscar's trying to hype him up as, the next great thing. But here's the other piece of this puzzle. The fight is taking place in Texas. And I swear there is something up with boxing and the commissions and Texas, or boxing and the sanctioning bodies like the WBC for sure, because again, it's the WBC interim super welterweight, which means the WBC interim 154-pound belt. That's what Ortiz Jr. and Lubin are fighting for. Krav Maga is really was developed by the Israeli, I think, the IDF. I mean, it's like, let me kill you in what, as quickly as possible. It's not a martial art. It's they're trying to deal with unarmed combat or just close quarters combat, or they're dealing with terrorists on a plane, whatever. They're not there to turn this into a martial art. It doesn't really have that aspect to it, Well, here's the thing. Don't lie to yourself, XM. Boxers don't make way more money than fighters in MMA. In fact, it's not until you get to the top 1% of 1%. Floyd Mayweather versus Francis Ngannou. But all the entry-level boxers, they don't make crap. In fact, they're paying to fight. At least in the UFC, those guys aren't paying to fight. I think boxing is corrupt, but I don't know why the WBC always has one of their titles on the line in Texas. Like, there's something going on there, because it's like, why would you, I don't know, like, why would you pump up Mario Barrios? He's horrible. All right, now here's the thing with this shady guy. He does not look very skillful. So right again, this is like perfect example of what Dana White was saying, why boxing is broken, because it's so obvious that the B side here does not have a skill set to put up much of a fight versus this A side. Just like that previous heavyweight fight where the B side was just doing this the whole time and taking shots right down here. All right, so I think this Amari Jones is going to stop Mr. Shady very, very shortly, or the ref will wave it off. This is only the first round. Scheduled for 10. Goodness gracious, I don't want to watch this for another 9 rounds. Right, so Shady's just, I mean, no diss, but he doesn't even look like a decent amateur. Okay, he made it through the first round. Okay, so for Amari Jones, this is going to look embarrassing for him if he can't get Shady out of there. Yeah, this is not even a fight. This is just a record builder. Amari just needs to put straight punches together. He needs to go in and out and just counter this Shady kid. I don't know why. Amari's talking back to his trainer on the stool. When you're on the stool, should be one voice, which is a trainer. All right. Well. I find it very interesting that Roy Jones is working with this Shady dude, because he just doesn't have much of a skill set. So, what is it that Roy can do for him? He's just super awkward. I don't know if that's his his shtick, but okay, now he looks a little bit better coming out the second round, but his feet are too wide. He does the bow and arrow thing when he goes to throw a punch. Anyways, Jones just throwing very calculated jabs to the head and then down to the body. Worse than Joe Lewis's bum of the month thing. At least that was entertaining. All right. All right, so now Jones is switching to southpaw. Don't know why he's doing that. We have Shady moving around the ring on the outside. Jones throwing single jabs and then a straight left to the body. But my opinion, Jones needs to get going with the jab a little bit more. He needs to try to get this guy from the outside, because as soon as they start to close distance, Shady starts grappling. All right, so Jones just landed a hard right hand. Now he's fighting out of orthodox again. He landed a hard right as Shady was bending over. But for a guy with over 10 pro fights, I'm not that impressed with Amari Jones. Amari's not putting his punches together enough to get Shady out of there. So if he's not careful, this awkward dude, Shady, could I mean, he could just give him a little bit of trouble here. Okay, so here's the deal, XM. None of the bottom tier fighters are getting a piece of the action. So I don't know what you're talking about, 50% to 80%. 50 to 80% of what? Their net? UFC is less than 10% of what? Their net, their gross? You're not lying to yourself. All right, XM. I mean, the thing is, I'm not lying to you either. I will tell you point blank. In fact, I'll just do another whole video about this. Revenue, meaning net or gross. Payout from what? Okay, so here's the thing, XM. Go get your next pro fight as an MMA fighter. Go get a pro fight as a boxer. See how much they offer you. You're not going to get offered anything for boxing. You're going to have to pay for it. I'm not going to have this debate with you because I know from actually doing it. Yes, we are in the USA. XM, here's the deal. Amateur MMA fighters can make money. They don't get paid a purse, but if they negotiate right, and most promoters will do this, they get a percentage of their ticket sales. So, hey, they go out, they sell 50 tickets at $50. You know, maybe they get $5 off of each of those sales. I don't know. But I do know amateur MMA fighters who made themselves a little bit of money. On the other hand, amateur boxers don't. And amateur pro boxers have to pay thousands of dollars to fight. So there's no way you can compare that. XM, I really don't care about your stats. And I'm not going to have this debate. I'm speaking from fact. I'm speaking fact from experience. There's no pro fighter out there fighting on a local card that didn't pay for it or get somebody else to pay for it. So you don't make any money. You're in the hole. A lot of these guys, someone's already in the hole, probably 6 digits, you know, in order to get them over 10 to 10-0. You can agree to disagree, but you haven't done your research because you don't know what it takes to get a pro fight. Okay. Sahab, I don't know. We're just here to talk about combat sport. You're not angering me. I'm just letting you know, XM, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why people who lose an argument always start to resort to emotion. Like they bring emotion into the argument as if that's a factor. Some other dude did that when I pointed out on that Rip Right video that I mean that was posted a long time ago, but I pointed out that, you know, hey, Marvin Gatlin was the inventor of the Rip Right stick. And then this other guy says, "Oh, I made that video out of emotion," and it's like, I'm make the video to try to shed some light to share facts about this guy who puts out the Rip Right stick, because he basically stole the invention from Marvin Gatlin. XM, I've said before, I am a pro fighter. I know from firsthand, from MMA fighters and boxers. I don't need to prove that to you. I just know. All right. So, like I said, you're not even in the mix. You're not in any boxing gym anywhere, MMA gym. So, no, I can't point you to a stat check. Like I said, if you could pretend that you're a pro fighter and you want to fight, and you can call up a local promoter and find out. They're going to tell you need to sell 60 tickets at $60 or something. It doesn't mean I'm automatically right. XM, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. This is pointless. Okay, I'll just tell you you're right. How about that? It's not going to change facts, XM. You have to pay money if you want to get a pro fight. Everybody likes to crap on Dana White saying he doesn't pay his fighters enough, but here's the deal. Like I said, MMA is way better promoted. You do not have to buy your fights. Boxing, local promoters, small promoters have stopped promoting, so they count on boxers paying them to fight. That's how they cover their costs, and that's how they make a few dollars. 100K? What are you talking about? You're gonna have to pay money. You're gonna have to pay money to fight as a pro fighter. I don't know who you're talking about. Brevet got paid less than 10%. 10% of what? 10% of the paper. Look, here's how it gets. Look, here's the deal. Unless you're Floyd Mayweather, unless you're at the very top on a pay-per-view, you're not making those crazy dollars. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. The vast majority of the bottom of that pyramid is paying money. Is XM getting out of hand? You can, Sean, you can get rid of XM. I mean, if he makes another disrespectful. All right, Davey V, I don't know what you're up to, but we're just here to talk about combat sport. All right, so this Amari Jones guy got Shady out of there, dropped him a couple of times. It's hard to be impressed with that just because his opposition was, excuse me, not very good quality. No diss to you, Shady and Roy Jones Jr. But, you know, they need to get this Amari Jones guy better opposition if they want him to break through. How are you doing, Nicole? Good to see you. Oh my gosh, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more fights to suffer through. or 3 more fights to suffer through before we get, no, maybe 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3 more fights to suffer through. This is going to be tough. We got a 4-rounder, a 6-rounder, and a 10-rounder before we get to Virgil Ortiz and Erickson Lubin. All right, hi Nicole. We're watching the boxing fights tonight. The main event is Virgil Ortiz Jr. and Erickson Lubin. That's really the only fight I'm interested in. So far, most of these have been stinkers. The only interesting point thus far has been Eric Priest and Esniker Correa fighting to an 8-round majority draw, which basically means Correa won, but he's the B-side, so they're not going to give him a win. Best he could hope for is a draw. I would love to hear about the background on that. Hopefully I could see a replay, because now that has my curiosity peaked. Because when you see the B-side getting a draw, when you see a draw, that means the A-side lost, and the B-side probably should have won. So we'll love to take a look at that afterwards, if we can get the full fight. Right now, Mari Jones is on the mic, but I'm not interested. Favorite boxer of all time is probably Joe Louis. Who's your favorite boxer of all time, Alpha Omega? In fact, who's everybody's favorite fighter of all time? Super curious. A favorite boxer. I should limit it to boxing. Joe Frazier. Okay, cool. Yeah, I love Joe Frazier. Probably tie between Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Oh, awesome. Yeah. I like both those guys. I would probably pick Mike over Roy, but Roy's such a unique fighter. So interesting. I mean, incredible backstory too with Roy Jones. Well, I mean, almost with every single fighter has an incredible backstory. But what I love about Mike is like he's such a student of the game. I think a lot of what he's able to do gets missed because we don't get to see his footwork on camera, because they'll zoom in and just so like fighters from here up. Mike's known for that nice inside up, those little uppercuts, and so it's zoomed in on him. You can't see what he did with his footwork in order to get there. Thank you for liking, Carlos. Appreciate it. Hello, Mafioso. Oh, and then Meldrick Taylor and Pernell Whitaker. Yeah, Sweet Pea Whitaker's pretty awesome too. Oh my gosh, I can't really... They're doing like the punch stat breakdown of all these fights after the fight. And it's like, who cares, man? Like, we know you're going to give it to the A side. Stats... See, there's another case where stats are irrelevant. All right, so next... we have Darius Fulgham versus David Stevens. These guys are... this is going to be for a 6-rounder. These guys are super lightweights, so 135. Oh, nice. Whitaker's from your hometown? Very cool, Sean. I attended school online, but their like actual campus was in Charlestown, West Virginia. So in order to go to the graduation ceremony, I don't know if we drove through Maryland or we touched it or whatever, you know, like that whole area. You're always like going from state to state as you're kind of close to DC, right? Do I watch Bare Knuckle? Alpha Omega is asking. Um, I only watched Paulie Malignaggi's bare knuckle fight, or actually I didn't. I missed it, but that's about the level of my interest in bare knuckle. It's too much for me, you know. Same thing with the slap fighting. Like I have a friend who does that, so I'll try to just watch hers, but I'm not really interested in the power slap stuff. I'll watch the you know how Dana did that, like the Ultimate Fighter thing for power slap. So I'll watch that just to see their backstories and stuff because that's interesting to me. But the actual thing, can't get into it. Sweet peas from Norfolk, Virginia. Okay, cool. All right, so right now we're between fights. You know, there's too many. I feel like there's too many. Well, here I am saying there's too many of these boxing podcasts where, like, a couple of guys just hem and haw back and forth. It's kind of draining. And then there's all the podcasts by people who know nothing about boxing and they somehow make themselves experts. Like, who the heck is this guy Wade Concept? And then you got that guy with the eyes that pop out. Um, then you got the hairy guy with the beard. Although he's the MMA guy, but you know, you just got these guys that are clearly non-athletic, never did a sport in their life, let alone combat sport, and somehow they created themselves as these experts. They do these expert breakdowns. Um, Thank you, Kev's positivity movement. Appreciate you. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool username. Yeah, Alpha, I can't follow the guy with the eyes popping out of his head. It just freaks me out too much. You stopped following him a long time ago, Sean? I don't know, man. Like, no diss, and, you know, God bless him, but he's got to get his thyroid checked out, man, because that's just not normal. Um, I don't know what his shtick is, because I didn't stick around long enough to figure that out, but, you know, God bless these guys, because the ring has hired them to do actual so-called analysis, but again, this is like boxing creates a void and then fills it with people off social media. That's how Voldemort got started. You know, boxing had a void during the pandemic. Voldemort already has a following, so they don't have to do any heavy marketing. So they say, hey, if we throw Voldemort on our card, then we'll get a ton of views because they don't want to do it themselves. So, same thing here, right? We throw up Bug Eye and we throw up Wade Concept, whoever he is, and oh right, then who are those two dudes? Ak and Barack. Like these guys already had their little podcast, right? So if the mainstream streamer like the Zone or the Ring or whomever, if they throw them up, then they know that they're capturing these guys' audience. He cannot stand Max Kellerman. Yeah, I don't blame you, Alpha Omega. He's really become full of himself. So here's the deal with Max Kellerman. Let me know if you already knew this. He got started when he was a teenager in New York City because his dad bought him airtime on the New York City public TV channel. Um, this is back when we had what you call cable TV, right? So there was a public local TV station, and the young Max Kellerman would do a little boxing thing on there. Anyways, he grew up on Fifth Avenue. He attended an Ivy League college, so he did not grow up tough at all. All right, Alex, what's my favorite food? Well, tonight I made myself a couple of cheeseburgers with fake cheese, not dairy, not non-dairy cheese. It was actually okay. Some dill pickles, which are my favorite. But probably overall my favorite food would be some type of chicken. Excuse me. Sean says showbiz mostly comedic relief, little boxing knowledge. Terrible commentary. Interesting. Okay. Well, he's managed to work his way into the mainstream, right? So, I mean, hopefully he's collecting some bills from these streaming services that retain his services. All right. We have a shot of Virgil Ortiz in his change room. He's wrapped up. Commission signed off on the wraps. Now they're talking to Eddie Hearn. So supposedly, I guess Eddie Hearn's alluding to Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Boots Ennis. Hi, how are you doing, Buhan? Alpha Omega, I'm in the gym like 6 days a week. Take Sundays off. So if you sub to this channel, you can see my live stream of some of the boxing stuff I do. I can't live stream any of the weight training because I'm in a public gym. So sometimes I'll just post up little shorts. I can't always film all my lifts either, just because. But yeah, you'll hopefully be seeing more and more of those over time. All right, guys, make sure you sub, and you don't have to hit the like, but just sub, hit the bell so you know when we are live for sure. All right, so we see a hoodied up Boots Ennis with shades on inside at night, and nice hardware around his neck. Interesting look. Don't know that I'd go wandering around in Texas after dark like that, but anyways. I don't understand people who walk around with shades on at nighttime. It can't be because he's trying to be incognito, because he's got a big, huge chain on with boots as a pendant. I mean, what do you think of those ridiculously huge pendants that everybody, all the guys see, like they have to rock this pendant? Looks like it weighs 5 pounds. I remember one of my friends in the boxing gym telling me that the stuff that AB used to wear, he goes, that crap is all hollow. He could tell just by because he was a jewelry maker, he could tell by the way it hung or whatever, like he could just tell by looking at it that it was not solid. So I don't know. I think it's a little ridiculous to wear a chain that thick around your neck. I mean, it looks like a dog collar. Not only that, but then you're making yourself a target. Are you not? If it is real, you want to flash like that, someone's going to come along and take it. Yeah, Sean, the funny thing is some of these boxers who aren't black, I see them doing it too. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's also maybe generational. They see other people doing it that they look up to, so they figure they got to do it. All right, here we go. We got I'm not sure who's who here. All right, we have David Stevens. Yep, David Stevens getting in the ring first, so he's the B-side. Sean says, I'm ashamed of that side of my community. One day we'll change it. I understand where you're coming from, Sean. Like, you see through the, uh, whatever, I'm not sure what to call that, that bad habits of your community. Like, I can say things about Japanese Americans, that's like generationally not necessarily the best thing, but all right. More than just a game. Where's the speed bag I use as a punching bag? It's still hanging up on the speed bag rack in the gym. JJ, what's up? Well, we are watching the fights, in this case, boxing fights. I'm waiting for Virgil Ortiz versus Erickson Lubin. That's really the only fight I'm interested in. However, I tuned in too early, and we're stuck watching all these pretty awful undercard fights that are total mismatches. So right now we're going to suffer through 10 rounds of a super middleweight matchup between Darius Fulgham and David Stevens. Now on the list of fights, this is right before the main event, but they haven't been following that bout order, so I don't know if this is the last fight before the main event or if we have to suffer through any more fights. Sean James, machismo. Oh, okay. Machismo, that makes a lot of sense. Bright is asking, do I think Lubin has a shot tonight? Yeah, I think he has a shot. I mean, I think he can hold his own. All right, Bright, this is for sure the co-main. I sure hope so. Hopefully he doesn't go the distance. Although it looks like both fighters are going to come in good conditioning and whatnot. They both look like they are actually both good fighters, so no one's stealing my purse with my boxing moves more than just a game. I appreciate that. Let's see. I've only had that a couple times. People tried to mug me in New York, but fortunately, nobody put their hands on me. So, I mean, fortunately for me, nobody put their hands on me. So, anyways. Okay, so let's see. Darius Fulgham is 14-1. David Stevens is 15-2. So at least on paper, right, this looks like a fair matchup. Now, in the ring, we have Lawrence Cole. I laugh because that's the other thing with the Texas Commission. Ask Paulie how much he likes fighting in Texas and how much he likes the Coles as referees. Merca says Lubin is getting stopped. All right. I think there was a ref, Dickie Cole. Anyways, yeah. I mean, Paulie's not going to say anything now because even though he's still doing bare knuckle, he's also, I think, part owner of Pro Box. So as a boxing promoter, they host some of the bigger promotions like Golden Boy, like Top Rank, whomever, PBC even. Pro Box provides the slots for the bigger promoters, lower tier fighters, so that they can still meet their contractual obligations with them. They're contractually obligated to provide the fighter with X number of fights per year, but they don't have enough slots on their own cards to meet all those obligations, so they kind of farm it out to a promotion like Pro Box. So that means Paulie's got to be nice to everybody. He can't start talking crap, I don't think, about any of the commissions, and he can't talk too much outright crap about promotional companies. I think he can talk crap about specific individual fighters, but anyways. Paulie gave an entire speech about Texas. Yeah, he did. He certainly went off in the ring after they robbed him of his first fight versus, isn't it versus Diaz? And then Paulie beat him in the rematch. But, all right, here we go with this co-main event. All right, we got Darius Fulgrim looking like a bit of a poser, but, you know, that's what a lot of these young guys look like now, because they're all worried about what they look like on social media. So there's a certain look they have. Fulgrim trying to come with a lot of these little single jabs. Let's see what David Stevens can make of this opportunity he's been given. Okay, already I'm not a Fulgrim fan because he fights with his lead hand low and throws single jabs. And on the inside, it looks to me like Stevens is willing to mix it up a bit. Here's my prediction. If Stevens starts to gain any momentum, Lawrence Cole will be sure to break up that momentum. Anyways, yeah, he's going to step in and separate a lot, the referee. All right, right now, Stevens is doing the right thing, trying to bob and weave under Darius Fulgrim's shots. But on the inside, oh, nice little uppercut, just barely misses there for Stevens. Yeah, in close quarters, we're getting a lot of grappling here. Lawrence Cole tells Fulgrim not to push Stevens' head down. Stevens got caught there just now. Stevens looks like he's trying to bob and weave underneath and get inside. I don't know why he likes that strategy. It's not like he's giving away an egregious amount of height here, but maybe that's just his boxing style. He is doing, David Stevens is doing a lot of grappling. Lawrence Cole warns Fulgrim one more time about pushing down on the head. Stevens is the shorter fighter, but I don't think he needs, or maybe that's just his style where he level changes and then starts to hold. But all right, let's see how long this plays out. All right, more than just a game. I appreciate that vote of confidence. All right, so for whatever reason, Fulgrim's corner is telling him to work on the inside, but I don't see any evidence that he does know how to work on the inside because he's always pushing Stevens' head. So that's just not a good habit to have, and it's something that should have been worked out during training camp. All right, Fulgrim starting to show a little like where he's lacking in skills here, though he does have some nice bob and weaves. In my opinion, he should use those opportunities to fire some hard body shots. All right, this is not going to be a pretty fight at all. Hopefully it doesn't go the full 10 rounds. Nice double jab there for a moment from Fulgham. And he's using decent head and body movement to make, from Stevens. Stevens is using good head movement and body movement to make Fulgham miss. Oh, do I think Buatsi deserved that win? No, I feel he lost the fight. I did a live for like the last 3 rounds of that fight, 2 rounds, and I was just like shocked that they gave it to Buatsi. But Lou DiBella also felt that they robbed him. He said so on the Ariel Helwani podcast. All right, so Stevens looks like he's going for a double jab overhand right. I'm not sure if he's fighting out of his regular weight division, because this is at super middle. Let's see, just out of curiosity. Hi Jay, how are you doing? No, it looks like he does fight at super middle. In fact, he fought heavier initially, then he came down to 168. All right. All right, this is turning into a little more of a grappling than strictly boxing, but yeah, they're gonna, if this goes the distance, they'll give Darius Fulgham the decision. Very interesting. Okay, Ronnie Shields is working David Stevens' corner, which there we go. Okay, Shields is calling for what I was asking for, which is if you bob and weave, go to the body, bob and weave, go to the body. So, Sean James, no dirty boxing. Yeah, no, not really. Can't get into it. I'd probably watch Brian Battle just because I'm a fan of Brian Battle, but other than that, I'm not really interested in dirty boxing. Unless, I mean, again, unless it's like maybe 2 fighters, they seem to be grabbing former UFC fighters. So if it's a UFC fighter that I'm interested in, like Brian Battle, then I might tune in. But on a regular, no. Just like I'm probably not ever going to watch another bare knuckle fight. I don't know that Paulie's ever going to do another bare knuckle fight. So if he does, I'll watch it. But other than that, yeah, it's really more just I'm more interested in the individual person than I am in the sport. Thank you very much for that compliment. All right, here we go. Round 3, scheduled for 10. Let's see if David Stevens is able to pull off the upset and execute what his veteran trainer Ronnie Shields is calling for, which is to fire body shots as he level changes and bobs and weaves. Right now, they're both getting in a lot of grappling. And we're watching actual boxing. We're watching the fight before Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Erickson Lubin. This is the co-main. This is on Golden Boy Promotions. The fight's taking place in Texas. The Lila versus Shields beef, I think it's just Clarissa trying to chase clout. She's always got to tune in on everything. Like she's got to tune in on, uh, you know, Voldemort being wrong for dropping Tank. You know, she whatever's trending, Clarissa will try to grab that headline, piggyback off it. Um, and the whole Lila beef, I think she's just. I mean, let's face it, what other names are there out there for her to call out at heavyweight other than Lila Ali? There isn't anybody. Like nobody knows any of the people. Can you name any of Clarissa's opponents? Can you name her opponent that she defeated, or can you name any heavyweights, other heavyweight females, other female boxers? I mean, Lila Ali is a name that people know. So that's the only reason I think Clarissa's even started that, is because she knows that has a bigger likelihood of trending than anything else. So I don't think it's a real beef, but I'm sure Lila feels somewhat disrespected, so she has every right to respond. All right. This boxing match is turning into a little bit more grappling than boxing. There we had Stevens do the right thing, jab to the head, go down with a right to the body. But as soon as he gets in close, it turns into grappling. I disagree with Darius's trainer. He doesn't know how to fight on the inside. Excuse me. To have Jack de la Madalena or Islam Makhachev? That's a great question. That's a tough call because Islam is moving up for the first time. I didn't think Jack was going to win, but he impressed me. He's very well rounded. The question is Islam just more mentally tough than Jack? I don't know. I mean, Jack, technically, if it was just based on technique, I probably would lean towards Jack. But when you have just that other added factor of mental resilience and this and that, I feel like Islam has a bit of an edge there. I'm also curious to see, how it's gonna be for him moving up in weight. All right, guys, appreciate the love. Thank you. All right, we are round 4, scheduled for 10. Very nice head move from David Stevens. Now, he's not going to get any credit for that. I think Stevens is going to have to stop Fulgrim. That's going to be tough because as soon as he gets inside, Fulgrim starts holding. So Stevens is doing the right thing as the smaller guy, and he's making good use of his skill set. But as Ronnie Shields says, while he's bobbing and weaving down at the body, he should be throwing some body shots. Thank you so much, Sean. Really appreciate the gift. I'm in California. Pound for life. LB for life. Thank you for the floating heart. That was very cool. All right, see, we got Darius still throwing single shots here. That's why I'm not that impressed with him. At this level, and he's fighting with that lead hand low. Don't like that. At this level, until you're dominating somebody, in my opinion, you shouldn't be fighting with your lead hand low unless there's a real specific reason. Like you love to throw that up jab. But right now, see, he's got the lead hand low and he's leaning in, so that negates that whole theory, right? Because the distance is already closed. You don't need to have your lead hand low to throw that up jab. In fact, when you're that close, why would you use an up jab? So he's, it's just like posing and looking. I want to look like a cool fighter so I can drop my right hand. Oh, hi, from Rome, Georgia. Very cool. Thank you for joining us. We're watching boxing fights. So is it okay if I address you as Chong? I mean, I'm guessing that's why you put that in parentheses. Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're gonna do that, you either need to be far out, and you shouldn't be leaning over your foot with your lead hand low. You need to be kind of just not leaning back, but not leaning forward, right? Right in the middle, and then you have to have that very fast step in and step out, because that's when you throw the up jab and then get out of the way and then come back with the right hand or something. Hey, Mr. Golden Bro 1, how are you? All right, awesome, Chong, that's cool. Okay, here we go in the corner. Fulgham caught David Stevens in the corner, and Cole is shaking his finger at him. He's doing this. I don't know. Do any of you know kids? I don't know. Little kids are like saying this is like, I don't know, some aura farming thing where you stand on one leg and go like this. But anyways, Cole just did that. Oh, Ronnie Shields is telling David Stevens to tighten up on his body shots, not to throw them from way out. Again, very good sound technical advice. Then he's saying, go to the body with the right, overhand right. He's 100% right. Ronnie Shields is an old school trainer. I'm not impressed with Fulgrim's cornerman. Thank you so much, Sean. I really appreciate it. You were stationed at Camp Pendleton. Wow, okay, that's just like, that's not too far from here. 2001, 2005. Very cool. Of course, driving around California, you go past Camp Pendleton a lot. Okay, so here we go. 5th round is picking up. David Stevens, hopefully he listens to what his trainer Ronnie Shields had to say, because it's sound advice. Of course, Chris Mannix is given every single round, except the last one, to Fulgham. The judges, I would imagine, are just going to give it a sweep for Fulgham unless Stevens does something big. Now, the problem here is that there's so much grappling once David Stevens closes distance that he's not able to get off those body shots. Oh, and somebody's mouthpiece. David Stevens' mouthpiece just came out, so Cole stops the action to get his corner to rinse it out and put it back in his mouth. There we go. I can't show the actual fight, if that's what you're asking me, Chong. Thank you very much, Chong. Yeah, so David Stevens is doing a good job with his upper body movement to begin. As soon as he closes distance, the grappling starts. That's not going to win him this fight. I think Ronnie Shields is absolutely right. He does need to try to get down to the body with his punches, not just get to the body and grapple. Oh, nice. He did do what Ronnie Shields called for right there, which is throw 3-4 punches to the body and come upstairs. And then Fulgham starts grappling again. Yeah, exactly, Sean James. He should work the body while grappling. Ooh, but he just ate a big right hand from Fulgham. Not a good optic. And so here's the problem with being a great body puncher like that on the inside is you don't see a big dramatic effect with a body shot unless it's a liver shot. But you see more of a visual effect when someone lands a headshot, right? All right, Stevens is going to have to figure out that he does not want to get stuck there grappling with Fulgham because that's just a time killer. and time is not on his side as the underdog. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Chong. That's so nice of you. Very, very cool. Much appreciated. Thank you. Consider joining our channel as a member if you're really into combat sport, because that's what this channel's about. Sean, thanks for that shout out. All right, let me hear what this. Oh my gosh, this corner is terrible. He's just giving them super general advice. Like, when you get inside, just keep working. I mean, he's not telling them any specifics. No, notice that Ronnie Shields always calls for very specific shots. That's how you know he's a real trainer. Yeah, Stevens, now that we're in round 8, he's going to have to really try to fight hard the rest of these last 3 rounds. Now, Lawrence Cole giving both of them a lecture. Stevens starting out well with a double jab, but it's right here when they get close to each other and the grappling starts that things do not go in Stevens' favor. Now, I'd hate to see Lawrence Cole start taking points or something and have that determine the outcome of the fight. All right, Stevens just got caught with a nice stick from Fulgham. Again, not a good optic, even though it may not be as damaging as some of the body shots Stevens is landing. See, with Fulgham, he's just not on that level because he's still throwing single jabs. And it's nice that he has that long reach so he can get away with it. But that's a skill that's going to cost him as he tries to take on harder competition. All right, right here, Stevens has to break free and throw those body shots like Shields was calling for. Oh, nice left by Stevens. Oh, nice jab by Stevens. Okay, he's gonna have to really work his tail off. He's got 20 seconds left in this 8th round. He's gonna have to work his tail off for the last 2 rounds if he wants a W. Yeah, I mean, there's just such a difference between Fulgham's corner and Stevens' corner. Stevens isn't going anywhere. I mean, sorry, Fulgham isn't going anywhere, even though he'll likely win this fight with a unanimous decision from the Texas Commission. All right, we got Erickson Lubin warming up in his change room. Interesting getup. Oh, he's calling himself El Jefe. Oh no, that's his sponsor, El Jefe Energy? I don't know. Alright. Alright, last 2 rounds of this. Fulgham versus Stevens. Fulgham being the A side will likely get the unanimous decision. But if Stevens can put something together in these final 2 rounds, maybe he can get a good stoppage, but I don't think so. Only because Fulgham knows how to just grapple on the inside. Unlike what his corner said, he does not know how to fight on the inside because he hasn't been taught. Oh no, my bad. This is only round 7 of 10. Ugh. Sorry guys, we gotta watch 4 more rounds of this. I'm getting a little fatigued, to be honest. Yeah, the worst thing that can happen for Fulgham is that he gets the win here because he's just not going to grow. That's my prediction. Still no adjustments. Yeah, Fulgham just, I listening to his corner, I think they just are ignorant, and he's gotten as far as he has based off sort of, I don't want to call it natural, but just what he's already able to do. Plus, he's probably got some connections because I guess he's signed with Golden Boy, and they've moved him properly. But if he wants to move forward with his career, he's got some serious problems. No, David Stevens could still pull this off. I didn't realize he's still got a few more rounds here, unfortunately for us. But he's not going to get that by getting underhooks like he is right now. Oh, so Cole's warning him that he's going to... Cole's warning the B side, David Stevens, that he might take a point for holding. All right, so David Stevens is going to have to dig deep and find something because he's going to have to bring it on the last few rounds. We have rounds 8, 9, and 10 coming up still. Ah, this is painful, you guys. He's in the wrong sport. He should join American Top Team Wrestling. That's funny. What? John, what are you talking about? All right, here we go. Round 8 of 10. All right, Sean, is that just BS? All right, again, we got grappling. Stevens pushing Fulgham against the ropes. Is that a meme or something? Or like, what? Again, Stevens gets Fulgrim up against the ropes. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sean. See, here's the thing with Fulgrim. He's trying to do. He drops his lead hand low to showboat. He doesn't drop it low because he's going to come with an up jab. So, to me, that's just a big mental weakness more than anything. Because it shows me where your head's at. What are we watching? We're watching the boxing fight card taking place in Texas. The next fight coming up is Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Erickson Lubin. But we've had to suffer through this undercard. This is where they should be paying us to watch this stuff, man. Even if it's free, we should get paid to have to watch this because they're getting views, right? Oh, Stevens got a body shot there. Oh, nice right hand by Stevens. But he goes right into an underhook and presses Fulgrim up against the ropes. Yeah, pay us for this. This is painful, man. Yeah, I don't know who Darius Fulgrim's corner is, but they don't know jack about boxing. It's pretty bad. Oh. All right, so sorry. Fulgrim's cornerman has sunglasses on. Anyways, like what Ronnie Shields was saying, that when there's distance, he has to throw a double jab. Always good advice. All right, Stevens trying to get some body shots off, but oh, thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate that. Yeah, it helps when you guys, the positive feedback and the gifts and stuff. That also helps. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is a particularly, I ill-timed this. I really should have just tuned in for the main event rather than wasting all of our time on this other stuff. But I also kind of wanted to catch a little bit of that UFC. But, I mean, that was almost anticlimactic there. Looks to me like Darius is winning this. He's getting off some good shots, and then he just starts to grapple as soon as he's done with whatever. But here's the thing with Fulgrim, single shot, throws single shots. not a world-class level fighter. Oh, here comes Stevens. A couple of nice left hooks. A right upcut, but again, he starts grappling, and that just kills the momentum. Fulgham with some good action towards the end of this ninth round. Oh, nice, some nice left hooks from David Stevens. Sorry guys, I'm zoning out a bit. Alright, we got one more round of this. Oh, this is torture. They're cutting to Teofimo in the audience in Texas. He looks like he's in shape. He doesn't look fat. He's got all his little rings on. Well, guys, there's fireworks going off near where I live, and I'm missing them right now. Oh, well. All right, Ronnie Shields' veteran move. The referee was bugging him, and I don't know. So Shields told him off a little bit. How are you doing, NRG? We're almost done, yeah. Okay, here we go, 10th and final round of this. The best part of this fight has been listening to Ronnie Shields' corner work. How are you doing, Marty McFly? Huh, so Chris Mannix supposedly got Stevens ahead by 1 point, but the judges won't because Fulgham is the A side. Oh, nice body shot by Stevens. Body shot, head shot. Left hook to the body, left hook to the head. But then Fulgham just starts grappling. Yeah, the commentators are giving him, talking badly about, or not talking badly, just saying that Fulgham didn't execute the way a contender should be executing. Like, in my opinion, he's not a contender. Just technically too flawed for me. And mentally flawed, you could tell. Like, just he's not making the adjustments, and his corner is not strong enough to lead him through these moments. All right, we got a minute left of this horrible stuff. Ringside said he took wrestling. Yeah, you're right. You did say American Top Team. But he didn't learn anything. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, it's like, why don't you just learn how to fight on the inside? If you knew how to fight on the inside, you wouldn't need the wrestling. Thank you, Little Us. Appreciate that. All right, less than 30 seconds of this, and I imagine they're going to give this decision to Fulgham. because he's the golden boy fighter. Oh, body language from both fighters is not good. Nobody's raising their hands in joy. All right, guys. I'm going to take a little break for 1 moment to grab another drink. 1 sec. $96, $94 full gym.
Judges David Hamaguchi and Chris Migliori are in agreement. They both scored the same 95 to 95. This bout is a
Oh, not then 2 95 95s. So they called it a draw.
and I told Chris Mannix that this is exactly how that fight was gonna go. It's gonna be a long night for Darius Fulcher.
Wow. Well, I thought they're gonna rob Stevens, but a draw is better than a loss, as they say.
Get this one over with and move on. So Stevens now 15-2-1. Darius Fulcher 14-1-1.
At least they didn't rob David outright.
The zone fan zone right now. I'm sure there's a lot of frustrated
Yeah, no rematch, exactly.
after watching that hug fest between these two guys.
Sorry, I'm eating these corn nuts. Only snack food I got on hand. Yeah, I definitely do not want a rematch of that. I think they should just go ahead and go on, fight other guys. As far as having a brighter future, I would say Stevens has a brighter future mainly because he has a real trainer in Ronnie Shields. The other guy just has a couple of weirdos.
The less said about this, the better. As we just show you our CompuBox statistics, 99 landed punches for Fulton, 97%.
All right, well, that wins the award for torture of the evening. Oh, nice. You got almonds and dark chocolate. Well, yeah, I probably have some dark chocolate floating around, but anyways. All right, here we go. Virgil Ortiz and Erickson Lubin. Well, looking at his, looking at Virgil Ortiz's corner, they're all wearing the snack t-shirts, so I guess he's a late Victor Conti acolyte, but I don't know. What do you guys think of Victor Conti? I'm not convinced he was. I mean, I don't know. If you're someone who's an expert at cheating, do you suddenly turn around and like not help athletes cheat? I mean, it wasn't just in boxing. Let's remember, it was like Marion Jones. Gosh, okay, now I can't think of the baseball player, right? Barry Bonds, was it? The Marion Jones thing was huge because she was such a megastar female athlete, and then poof, nothing, right? Because that all just went away. I don't know. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I believe that someone who's not a cheater, I'm not so convinced that a cheater just suddenly becomes not a cheater, and not like I don't want to believe in redemption, but it's just if you're good at figuring out how to help athletes cheat and take PEDs and not get caught, how are you suddenly going to then turn around and become the guy who helps the testers catch the athletes? I don't know. Yeah, he helped create VADA. But, what was I going to say? That was also Dr. Margaret Goodson, I think that was her name. Thing is, they test at the amateur level too, CWAG, so you're not going to be able to compete, at the national level and not get tested. And actually, I think the amateur testing is more stringent than the pro PED testing, because there's no like corruption in that. At the amateur level, it's not even done by your boxing organization. It's done by the outside organization. They got nothing to do with your sport, so you can't have influence. You can't pay somebody off or whatever. You know what I mean? And the pros, that I'm betting people submit other people's samples. Games get played at the pro level with the whole testing thing. Well, in college, that's different. I'm talking about amateur boxing. Any amateur sport in the United States of America, if you compete at the national level, they're going to test you, especially if you win. And that's done by an outside organization. It's not done by the U.S. Olympic Committee. It's not done by any of the sports organizations. It's totally separate. They show up on the spot on the day of the competition, so you don't get a month's notice. You have a year's notice, and then when the heck your national tournament is. So okay, well, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna box or not, but my point is they test at the amateur level as well as the pro level. But if you're not even really interested in boxing because it's dumb and causes brain damage and it's rigged, then we're having a moot conversation, right? All right, now we're doing a stand-up talk between Chris Mannix and Oscar De La Hoya. Oh, so now they're talking about um goodness. They're trying to sell Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. They just showed clips of Ryan and Devin Haney. They didn't show Ryan versus Rolly. Rolly figured out how to take away Ryan's left hook. So he nullified it. I mean, I give credit to Rolly's trainer, the Cuban guy. I think he was training with Salas, wasn't he? All right, now Oscar's trying to hype Zurdo Ramirez versus David Benavidez, but I don't think that'll happen. All right, Maddox really needs a stylist. Even though Oscar's rocking the same look of a suit, dress shirt, and no tie, it just sits better on Oscar than it does on Maddox. Now they're asking about, does he want Virgil Ortiz versus Boots Ennis? Still don't understand why Boots is wearing a hoodie, sunglasses, and then he has his chains, like right there. I don't know. Yeah, I do practice MMA. All right. So now we got a little break in the not in the action, just a break before the main event. Let's hope this is not a snooze fest. Oh, they said, I didn't realize this. Erickson was signed by Mike Tyson. All right, Buster. Well, I bet you know if you already done some wrestling and grappling, and you know you already know Taekwondo and Muay Thai, then I would say you might have fun if you sign up for some MMA classes. I have no idea if you could make it as an amateur because I haven't seen you do anything. But I would say this. Uh, don't try to teach yourself by watching some videos. Just get yourself in the best shape you can and go to a gym where you could take some classes. You could see if you really like it, you know? Like you have the striking down, but you got to get the formal wrestling and the jiu-jitsu down. It's a whole different thing when you start learning how to ground fight. Different mindset, different feel. No, I don't think you're too old. I mean, you're just going to be older tomorrow than you were yesterday, right? No matter what age you are right now. So just start. But just first get yourself in really good shape before you go into the MMA gym. Alright, they're not actually giving us live footage of Lubin in the changing room, nor are they giving us live footage of Ortiz in the changing room. This is just repeat footage of what they showed before, so. See, this is yet another reason why UFC production is better than boxing production. They don't do this repeat stuff. You're in Australia, awesome. Well, MMA is pretty big in Australia, so. All right, now we got more stand-up. Sergio, Chris, and I don't know who the other guy is. Nobody wears a tie anymore, huh? Here's my opinion on that. If you don't want to wear a tie, then just wear a golf shirt or something, for God's sake. Most of our best athletes get into something or rugby. Oh, thank you for the jewel. That was very cool. Laughing boys, thank you for the floating heart. Appreciate you. All right, now they're announcing the fight in the ring. Thanks, laughing boys. Appreciate it. Thanks for the marshmallow. All right, here comes Erickson Lubin making his way to the ring. He's funny. He's got on a Mexican. He's got on a sombrero with Mexican colors. Oh, thank you for the party hat. Lubin, of course, well, I shouldn't say of course, Lubin is a Cuban southpaw, so this might make for an interesting matchup. Hi, good evening. Who's this? Yeah, it's evening here. It's like 8 o'clock in the evening. Judo isn't eligible for Benavidez' fight. I agree. Yeah, Bivol versus Benavidez would be super interesting. All right, here comes Isaac. Here comes Virgil Ortiz. Yeah, watching it right now. All right, Sean, thank you so much for all your help tonight. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the gifts. That was super cool. And thanks for being a great moderator. And I'll see you next time. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. All right, this is the interim 154-pound belt. Virgil Ortiz worked with Robert Garcia. And I guess with the Victor Conti's snack. We're waiting for them to announce the fighters. Are just going through all the rigmarole. Strange looking guys in the corner. Hey Robocat, how are you doing? Hey Robocat, my fault. All right, this is an unknown quantity as the referee, guy named James Green. Fort Worth, Texas, live from Fort Worth, Texas. Erickson Lubin takes on Virgil Ortiz Jr. All right, Erickson Lubin is being announced. They say he's rated number 5, according to the Ring magazine. Who do you guys have in this fight? All right, now they're announcing Virgil Ortiz Jr. Who's the weird dude with the pink glasses and beige suit? Probably the money guy. I'm not sure why you have an interim belt and you defend it. Once you get the interim belt, shouldn't you then fight for the belt? I don't know. Whatever. I'm curious to see how biased this referee is. Okay, here we go. A righty-lefty matchup. Lubin, that southpaw Cuban versus Virgil fighting out of Orthodox. Right out the gate, Lubin is more bladed in terms of his stance and upper body, and Virgil is more squared up. Very late. I'm in Cali, California, so it's almost 8:30 p.m. here. It's probably Sunday where you're at, right, Nebula? All right, so with these stances, this favors Lubin's long jab, which he's making good use of right now. Ortiz is keeping a high, responsible double guard. And Ortiz is trying to counter with his jab. However, in this opening minute, it's really Lubin that's getting off more jabs. Ortiz had a moment there because he caught Lubin against the rope, so he's able to get off a body shot, headshot, left hook. Lubin's using a lot of probing jabs. And Ortiz is being the pursuer. One calls these feints, but Lubin's throwing punches that he doesn't even intend to land. So that's why I call them probing, because he's just trying to see how Ortiz will react. Right now, Lubin's moving around nicely to his right, back and forth a little bit. Well, in terms of the politics of the thing, here's the thing. I don't know much about either fighter, either Nebula, but in terms of the politics, it's the WBC. They have a WBC ref in the ring, and they're fighting in Texas. And it's pretty clear to me that there's some type of understanding, shall we say, between Texas Commission and the WBC that, you know, big fights need to happen in Texas, and Texas needs to have world champions. So, hey, Virgil Ortiz, popular in Texas, and he's an interim world champion. All right, so we got Lubin moving it around, but Ortiz catches him in the corner in the final closing moments. Lubin does not seem too worried, though. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to take a brief break for a moment, guys. All right, here we go. Second round. All right, Ortiz starting to come alive here a little bit in the second round. Ortiz is doing more parrying of that Lubin's jab. Looks like he's trying to time things a little bit here. Nice little slips by Virgil Ortiz as well. Throws a couple lead left hooks. Oh, okay, Lubin caught against the ropes here. Both men keeping up a high double guard. Lubin punches off the ropes. Not sure why Lubin is choosing to keep his back on the ropes like that. Virgil getting... Whoa! That's it! The ref stepped in. Holy cow. Lubin just put up the high double guard and kept his back against the ropes. And I don't believe it. The ref just stepped in and stopped it. Wow. Good for him. They're saying he was out on his feet, but... I don't know why he put himself against the rope. I mean, it was a bad camera angle to see whether he was badly hurt. They would have needed the side angle because they were shooting it straight on, so you couldn't see, you couldn't really see Lubin. You could see Ortiz's back. But I think he landed a hard body shot up the middle, maybe a hard uppercut, and some hooks to the head. So, I don't know. I want to see the replay. But I don't think that was fixed. I mean, I think the ref... You know, Lubin didn't protest. Let's take a look. Okay, so Lubin... Two exchanges where Lubin fired back. And then he just put up the high double. And Ortiz started... Okay, that's the third exchange where Lubin fired back. Then Ortiz came with hooks. Overhand right. Oh, body shot, uppercut, right uppercut, left hook, or right hook, right hook, right hook, right hook, right hook. Okay, so, yeah, Lubin was wobbly. It was from those tight right hooks. Oh, right there, yeah. Yeah. He wasn't badly hurt, but if the ref let it continue, he would have been badly hurt. Just a bad move for Lubin to put himself on the ropes. I don't get it, but anyways. That's a shame. One hand, I'm glad because I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. So I'm glad this fight didn't go on very long, but it is a very good win for him. I just question, you know, we saw Lubin put himself on the ropes and in the corner in the first round, and I kind of questioned that. So I don't know what his trainers. No, I don't think any trainer's gonna say, yeah, put yourself on the ropes and then stick yourself in the corner. So I don't know why he did that. All right. Well, that's crystal clear. No need for any corruption. Virgil Ortiz stops Erickson Lubin in the second round. The question now is, what's up with Erickson? Is he shot? All right, well, you could see why they dragged this out with that horrible undercard, because this main event lasted like a couple 100 seconds. Yeah, Lubin putting themselves on the ropes. I don't understand why. FX. Mystery to me. Oh, you're very welcome, Nebula. Really appreciate it. So, guys, I am going to call it an evening. Let me know if you have any last thoughts or requests, because I'm pretty wiped out mentally. Nebula, let me know. What fights are you looking forward to? I mean, congrats, Virgil Ortiz Jr. You know, that was a great win. All right, so that does set up Virgil Ortiz versus Boots Ennis. That'd be an interesting fight. I think I would go with Boots in that matchup. Oh yeah, Brian Norm, KO Devin. Can't wait. Yeah, I'm kind of hope. You know, I'm biased there. I don't like Devin, but yeah, I'm hoping that Brian Norman can do some damage to Devin. So we'll see, FX. So FX, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and maybe consider joining the channel as a member. But I will see you the next time. All right, guys. Have a good evening. Oh yeah. All right, Nebula. Definitely Benavidez versus Yard. That's coming up on November 22nd, so I'll see you there. I'm looking forward to that fight too. All right, guys. Good night. Have an awesome rest of your Saturday or Sunday.